it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in on a viewer inquiry regarding a psychopathic individual, someone who has been exhibiting some very distressful and concerning behavior, emails, texts, things of that nature that are really out of the ordinary, atypical, really meant to cause fear, intimidation, and really basic upset to this individual. So I wanted to focus in here really on the love bombing phase and the role of testosterone in psychopathic relationships or relationships with individuals who are psychopathic in nature, and the role of testosterone and the hormone oxytocin, and how this deluge of two really kind of combative molecules create the love bombing and the confusion, and also that leads to the gaslighting and why you really can't trust these types of individuals. The love bombing phase is exhibited in the beginning of a relationship with a psychopath, where everything is euphoric, everything is phenomenal, everything is falling into place. You have a sense of bliss, great sexual congruence. If we're talking especially about relationships with a psychopathic individual, and we're talking about a romantic partner, a member of the same sex, opposite sex, etc., we see this increase of oxytocin or feel-good hormone in the mind and body of the target. And oxytocin is the moral molecule, as Dr. Paul Zach describes as the morality molecule. And it's oxytocin, this feel-good hormone that is released in the brain as well as in the body, which is the cause of that addiction. It's the cause of that feeling of insatiability, that feeling of being hooked, of being allured, attracted, and wanting no other than the psychopathic individual, because of the triggering of this feel-good hormone, which is called oxytocin. Oxytocin is released during sex, so both people are feeling this surge and rise of oxytocin, which again is a feel-good hormone. It creates a sense of bonding, trust, intimacy, and it is also released significantly during childbirth by a mother giving birth to her child. And so it's this oxytocin surge that creates that connection and that bond and that closeness with that infant. And that bond and closeness creates that trust. It creates that connectivity. It creates that very close and special bond and relationship between a mother and child. And the oxytocin is also a hormone. It is produced in the brain. It is also produced in the body, and it's also thought to, once it is elevated, once it is switched on, it also creates a sense of trust and morality in people. It helps them to do the right thing. So that's why people who have high oxytocin, they're doing the right thing. They're more connected to other people. So this also creates that sense of empathy. And empathy is when we're able to understand the feelings, needs, wishes of another. So it's really responsible for connectivity between people, this heightened oxytocin, this caring moral molecule, as so to speak. So people who exhibit high empathy are thought to perhaps have a high release of oxytocin. So this release of oxytocin is also thought to be present in highly productive societies as well. So if we look at the bigger picture, the incidence of integrity and morality is also related to high productivity and higher wealth nations. So it's a very interesting connection here as we continue our discussion. One also important aspect, though, in the development or physical traits of a psychopathic individual is the heightened level of testosterone. It is felt that by many research has been conducted and discussed furthermore by Thomas Sheridan, what many other researchers, is that psychopathic individuals, both male and female, have a heightened amount of testosterone. Testosterone is the hormone, a lot of people associate it only with males, but it is found in both males and females. And the testosterone is related to aggression, drive, motivation. And so people with high testosterone levels are thought to display a high aggression, a lot of physicality, heightened aggression, sexuality, impulse control as well, impulsivity as well as that we see in the psychopathic individual, because we're going to see here in a moment that the testosterone, the heightened level of testosterone in both psychopathic males and females, which account for this very high energy, this impulsivity, this aggression, this drive, this motivation, the fact that they don't really sleep very much. This also tends to repress or turn off oxytocin. So a heightened degree of testosterone elevated in the system shuts down or inhibits oxytocin, which is that bonding chemical, that moral chemical, that chemical that relates to trust. So it essentially shuts it out or it negates it. So what ends up happening then is the psychopathic individual has this elevated testosterone, heightened sexuality, but yet is now not feeling that feel-good oxytocin, that sense of trust, care, love, and empathy for others. So when other people are experiencing the side of the relationship of the target, who are being groomed to have that heightened oxytocin, that heightened elevation of being coddled, of being talked to, sweet talk, all those sort of things, the physical touching. Hugging is one of the main behaviors that increases the oxytocin in individuals. It has a very kind of spurt experience or life in the mind and body of people. So that's why when people hug, they have a very high increase of oxytocin. So that's why people feel good. And, when they hug another or they have sex, intimacy, close communication, things like massages also help to elevate that oxytocin, which helps you to feel good. It helps you to feel connected, bonded to other people. It also enhances empathy and connectivity, and also generosity and trust. So all this is elevated in those who are targeted by a psychopathic individual during the love bombing phase. So the target is increasing this high incidence of oxytocin. They're getting essentially addicted to this heightened level of oxytocin, this feel-good chemical. And I'm not talking about making it all physical here, but I'm just trying to help you to understand the physiological basis, because you very much can, once you are able to understand this, you're able to understand physically what's going on, and you can get a better handle on it and help remove yourself from this abusive relationship and kind of reset your feel-good chemicals yourself, which is so very important to be able to get control back. And so the psychopathic individual who exhibits a high degree of aggression, drive, hypersexuality, very poor impulse control, promiscuity, prone to breaking the rules, breaking the law, really exhibiting zero empathy, not just lack of empathy, but none. So really what this equates to is that the psychopathic individual has no empathy and no trust and no connection to other people. And the sad thing, I think, is that the psychopathic individual realizes this and utilizes this, what they perceive as a strength, to further manipulate, coax, and deliberately draw people along this love bombing, devaluing, and discarding, knowing that this person is going to react in very predictable ways. to the love bombing, to the devaluing, and to the discarding. In other words, knowing that they just have them essentially on a rope, have them wrapped around their finger, have them just basically like a pawn, moving them at will, exploiting them at will, exposing their human side, their humanity, their desire to be close, their desire to have connection, their desire to be fulfilled and have intimacy with this person, knowing that the psychopathic individual feels none of this. They basically walk them through this cycle of addiction, exploitation, and discarding. And so they really have zero attachment to this person. And so I think very much, this, the target very much feels like, well, is it something that I did? Could I have behaved a little bit differently? You cannot change these people. You cannot use the same subset of understanding people with this group of population of people. The same social norms that you feel for yourself do not apply to this group. I mean, it just doesn't. It's a different subset of humankind, of the human being. They just don't look at relationships the same way. They don't look at life the same way. And they just don't have the same connectivity. So when you see that they're able to move on to other relationships quite easily, it's related very much to this chemical imbalance that you see. But what is so sad is that they tend to utilize this deficit within them to manipulate, exploit, and really devalue and devastate and destroy others. And knowing that they feel no remorse, no regret for doing that. So I hope this video has been helpful to help you understand that oxytocin feel-good chemical, which you're feeling a depletion of when you're going through sort of the withdrawal, realizing that hugging people can help restore and elevate that oxytocin level. In fact, Dr. Zach here recommends 8 hugs a day. And so really anything that can help you elevate that feel good and connectivity with people is going to be your really golden ticket to helping you move through the devastation of a psychopathic individual. Anything that you can do to help restore your humanity, your trust in yourself, your trust in others through massive action. With the recovery journal, like we discussed, talking to others, but seeking out activities that can help raise your feel-good, your sense of the warm and fuzzies, as they say, whether it's getting a massage, whether it's putting on clothing that helps stimulate, that feeling of connectivity, keeping warm. I mean, just some very basic things. Taking a bath, taking a hot shower, using aromatherapy, bubbles, things of that nature that help to elevate the oxytocin feel, watching a romantic movie, something that, or a book that raises your oxytocin, giving hugs, receiving hugs, massage. These elevate oxytocin and will help you to move on and recover from psychopathic relationship and emotional abuse. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos, that they do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.